Sorry, let me just go ahead and get this situated. Good morning. Oh, got it on this side. Oh, that felt great. Hi, YouTube. It is Saturday, the 15th, April 15th. It's 7 a.m., 7 in the morning. And I want to talk first about apps in general. And it's just a quick little blurb. And that's to say, if you're going to show interest in someone, read their profile. Seriously, they don't take the time to write that just for it to be ignored. And quite frankly, it will save both of you some time as well. I had a guy this morning who messaged me and was like, yeah, I would love to hook up with you. And I was like, okay, well, did you read the profile? And he's like, no. I was like, well, I'm HIV positive. And he immediately started ignoring me. So, that said, read. I know it's a lost art form. That's actually shape, but go. Make a curvy woman with your thumbs. I know it's a lost art form, but it really helps. It helps you understand a person. Now, next thing that I want to address is the gay community in whole. There is a large gap of willful ignorance, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and define both words real quick. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge or understanding. That's a pretty general definition of it. Willful is a stubborn continuity of doing something regardless of results, regardless of outcomes, regardless of anything. You just do it. You're willful in doing it. You know, I can sit here and eat an entire bag of Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookies, the soft ones. The soft ones are really good. Willfully, and I know that I'll get a stomachache later, but I still do it. Cookies are amazing. They are. And I feel like I should back up a little bit so that way you can see my hands as they sign everything. Now, there is a gap of willful ignorance here in the gay community, and it mainly focuses on HIV. It does. I mean, there are other issues. There is discrimination based on age, race, gender. Really, meaning that trans people, they get ignored a lot because they used to have the parts that a person doesn't like. That said, I want to focus on HIV. I had a different guy message me earlier, and he said, oh, I would really love to hook up with you. And I said, okay. And he said, what are you into? And I was like, well, just FYI, I am HIV positive, but I'm undetectable. So HIV plus U. That's the general term for HIV positive and undetectable. That's the go-to acronym for a person who's undetectable, who is managing their virus. Okay, so that said, Come on, computer screen, stop doing that. That said, he immediately stopped messaging, and you know, he was good looking, he was, and you know, I messaged again, and I said, you know, is that okay? You know, what's going on? And he was just continued to ignore, and so I messaged him. I said, you know, your desire to remain willfully ignorant is going to end up getting you killed. This is an educational moment for you, and you're choosing to remain willfully ignorant. And of course, you know, I blocked him. You know, it's not worth my time. I'm not going to help people who don't want to be helped. But you know, HIV education is it needs to take a forefront, especially in high school. High school is when students learn about, you know, sex. They learn about, you know, STIs, things like that. And oh god, sorry, my hair is a mess right now, so please don't look at it as I fix my hat and itch my head. But there's high school education needs to put a forefront on HIV education, especially because there are those people that want to remain stupid about the subject. They don't care. They don't care. And they're the ones who are at most risk for infection. They are. Because they're going to end up hooking up with someone, they're not going to use a condom, and they're going to contract it, they're going to get it. And the reason for that is because they want to remain that way. They don't want to think about the bad in the world. Unfortunately, there is bad in the world. There is. One of my favorite lines from a video game character, which is Karthus from League of Legends, is, I had it pulled up on my phone earlier because it was from my, Time Hop. Time Hop. This video is sponsored by Time Hop. We'll go with that. Not really. They don't sponsor me at all. But it goes, agony, ecstasy, peace. Every passing has a beauty all its own. What that means to me is that there's going to be agony, there's going to be ecstasy in life, there's going to be peace, there's a gamut of emotions that you're going to feel throughout your life, and you have to take the good with the bad, because then you don't know what the good is, unfortunately. I know what the good is for me in my life right now. I have a stable home, I'm getting a job right now, I'm going to be going back to school. I don't have a whole lot of friends, unfortunately. I do have a few, though. I have a few, and one of them is deaf. He is. Craig, hi. But in order to know what the good in life is, you have to have the bad, and you need to understand the bad. You need to understand the bad just as much as you understand the good. So, my call out to the gay community: educate yourself. Understand the bad in the world. Embrace it. Give it a hug. Just sit there and say, you know what? I know that you're bad for me, but you're going to be part of my life. You're part of my community. You're going to be a part of my life because my community is my life. So, understand it. Understand it. It's supposed to be like a light bulb going off. Yeah, I know, right? The original people who invented ASL are amazing. I have to say that. You know, but it's just. But take the good and the bad, understand them, work with them. You know, sit there and say, you know what? And I didn't pressure him for condomless sex. That's the thing, is that I didn't say, you know what, I want to have condomless sex. He just immediately just started ignoring me right after that, and it's like there's still things that you can do to prevent this. There's condoms, there's PrEP, there's oral rather than having anal penetration. There's a gamut of things that you can choose to do rather than stupid computer screen keeps turning off. There's a gamut of things you can do rather than having actual penetration. There's ear sex. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. The movie Scary Movie is in my brain right now, and that scene just and yet he didn't die somehow. You penetrate the entire brain and somehow you don't die? Like, that's awkward. That's awkward. But that's beside the point. So educate. And I could sit here and sign that. Educate. But nothing's going to be handed to you. Nothing is. You're going to have to choose to do it on your own. You have to. It's your choice. It's your decision. It's your decision to sit there and say, okay, this is going to be part of my life. I need to understand it. It's what I had to do. When I was diagnosed, when I got my test results back, I was in a coma. I was passed out. But, after, when the doctor came in for the third time to tell me that I have HIV, it took 3 times, I made the decision right there and then, I'm not gonna let it own me. I'm not going to. And that's a decision that you have to make for yourself. You have to make a decision, if you want to live in a hookup culture and you want to be a person that hooks up, you have to decide that you're going to educate yourself. That is your, oh, it's still good. Wow. The camera's working better. It's working better. It is. It's a decision that you have to make for yourself because, quite frankly, nothing's going to be handed to you. Somebody, my doctor gave me a few pamphlets, said, here's how this works. And he's like, if you have any other questions, you can come back to me. But there's a lot of resources online. And I immediately took on, I took the online option. I was like, I'm going to know this shit. I am going to know this because it's a part of my life now. That said, I keep up to date on my test results. I keep up to date. I have a doctor's appointment in May 5th. And that just to denote, if you need to denote like a first or second or third, you actually take the number and you twist it inwards. I want to say that it's May 5th. Let me check real quick. April, May 4th. It might be 4th. May 4th. Yep. Dr. Tenford. 1040. TENFORDE. Yeah, I know. It sounds like 1040, but it's not. It's 1040. That's common vernacular right now. Yeah, that's my skateboard. It's a piece of art. So it's people's choices on what they want to do with their life. They have to make the decision, the conscious decision, to educate themselves. And if you choose not to, and you end up hurting yourself in the end, and by hurting, I don't mean like actual pain. I'm talking about like, contracting an HIV or contracting any kind of STI. Any kind of STI. Hep C, gonorrhea, chlamydia, crabs. If you end up contracting any of those, that's on you. There's no one else to blame but yourself because, quite frankly, you chose to remain that way. Oh, wonderful. North Korea has declared war. That's wonderful. It's almost a year old, though. They've been declaring war for over a year. And Russia and China are both starting to invade North Korea. That's wonderful. Which is weird because Russia is not part of NATO. In fact, Russia wants to disband NATO altogether. North American trade. I can't remember what it is. Hold on. NATO. I have to come in to read this. What is NATO? Oh, there's an actual NATO Twitter. There's a NATO Twitter. Oh, God, what does NATO stand for? God, come on, Internet, let's go. What does NATO stand for? North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So, it's a treaty between U.S., Britain, Canada, Mexico, a few other countries south of the UK, a bunch of UK countries, essentially. European countries, I guess I should be saying European, because not everything is the UK in Europe. China, Japan, India, I believe. I want to say India. It's essentially the old. God, what is it? What is the? I have to open up a new tab. Sorry. What is the trade company from Pirates of the Caribbean? Don't. I know. It's basically the old East India Trading Company, just including the colonies and some other countries here in the Americas. Because we weren't around back then. We weren't around back during the East India Trading Company's time. We were not. So we actually took that old trading company and formed it into NATO eventually, and that happened within like the last 100 years or so, I want to say. But that's besides the point. I'm digressing right now. I love digressing. It's a habit. It's a habit of mine. So yeah. Choose to educate yourself. Just do it. I'm giving myself a nipple right now. I'm trying to. Choose to educate yourself, because if you don't, you will end up hurting yourself. You will end up doing something stupid, and doing something stupid that I thought I did. Of course, that was my ex's fault. My deaf friend is trying to get me a job right now, so he wants me to take over his old job. So, choose to educate yourself. Don't go through life without understanding things. I know that whenever I see something online, I scroll through Facebook probably 20 times a day, and when I do that and I see something, I'm like, that's different. Maybe I'll go ahead and read into it. And I choose to do so. It's better than not understanding what's going on. My roommate does it a lot. He reads news article upon news article every morning. He wakes up, he gets on his phone, he reads through tons of news articles, and he's well educated. He is. That's why he's actually changed a few of my views on Trump. Overall, I still think that Trump is a bad guy. He's bad for this country. But some things, he's done okay. He's done. We'll say it's iffy. Take a drink of water real quick. Last note, I had a wonderful massage yesterday. It was totally free. It was from a student, who's learning massage therapy, and my body could not stop shaking for 5 minutes after he was done, and it felt amazing, and my back actually feels so much better today. Like, I've been sitting in this chair for probably the last 5 hours, and normally after about 3 I have to get up. I haven't done that yet, and it's amazing. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, so suffice it to say, read profiles, educate yourself about people, educate yourself and educate yourself about people, understand them. You know, don't just write them off as, you know, don't look at the cover of the book and then say, yeah, okay, we're good. Dig deeper. Dig deeper. And I can't wait for World War III to start and the bombs to start flying. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Saturday, and I will talk to you guys later. Stay gold.